The last round of the Asia Pacific Rally Championship, held in Malaysia, provided a fairy tale finish for Cusco TRD driver Mike Young.
What happened there?
But for his fellow APRC competitors, it was all drama and despair, as the event proved the old adage, to finish first you must finish. Arriving in Japan for Rally Hokkaido, the 5th round of the championship, competitors are expecting a rough but fast event, thankfully without the heat and humidity of Malaysia. Japan's expected to be decisive in the title fight, as results from Malaysia compress the drivers' points, with Skoda teammates Esa-Pekka Lappi from Finland and Gaurav Gill from India separated by just half a point. Only 3 points behind the leading pair is India's privateer Sanjay Takali in a Subaru.
I just have to keep my head cool. You know, Japan have never finished, so the ghosts are haunting me. And of course I'm going to be nervous because I'm under pressure now because I have to finish to win the Production Cup.
After his win in Malaysia, New Zealander Young comes into contention too, just 12 points behind leader Gill.
The main goal is to finish, and it's not going to be easy. It's pretty tricky here in Hokkaido. There's lots of ruts and places that can catch you out, so it's pretty tough.
For Hiroshi Asakura, the APRC has been a real challenge. DNFs in New Zealand and Malaysia putting him out of contention for the driver's title. However, he is more than determined to get a good result on his home event.
そうですね、マレーシアから、日本に戻ってきてかなりハイスピードですので、とにかく、日本特有のわだちのできるような路面なので、車自体が、決して強いとは言えないので、車をいたわりながらも、少しでも早く一つ上のポジションを目指して今回、日本では頑張りたいと思っています。
Cusco Racing is determined to do well at home in Japan, and its 2 days of testing on the soft Hokkaido roads give its engineers and technicians plenty of data. The Japanese-based team is looking to retain the APRC Asia Cup won last year by Yuya Sumiyama, but after a DNF in Malaysia due to an engine failure, he needs a good result here in Hokkaido.
マレーシアが調子悪く終わってしまったので、今回北海道、牟田と含めてあと全日本のクスコレーシング含めてですね、いいリザルトが出せるように、今日明日明後日と、頑張りたいと思います。天気も、道のコンディションもすごくいいので楽しみにしてます。よろしくお願いします。
It's Sumiyama's teammate Shihei Muta who leads this year's Asia Cup, and the young Japanese driver is hoping for another good finish.
自分の、母国なので一生懸命、いい結果が残せるようにしっかり走りたいと思います。
Cusco's Toyota driver Young is second, 10 points behind the leader. Tomohide Hasegawa is chasing the Asia Cup too, and after a good haul of points in Malaysia, he's feeling confident with the conditions in Hokkaido.
こんにちは、長谷プロの長谷川です。今年もラリー北海道がやってきましたね。ラリー北海道は私のホームのラリーなんで、今年も全力で頑張りたいと思ってます。コースはすごくハイスピードコースで、シェイクダウンもしましたけど、すごく速度が出るんで、ちょっと緊張しながら全力で頑張って、マレーシアについてポイントを取りたいと思いますんで、応援よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございます。
The stage is set then for a decisive battle for the championship, and the local fans know they're in for a great show as they arrive en masse to get souvenirs, autographs and photos with the drivers. Lappi has the most unusual role to play as part of a wedding party. A Japanese couple who met on the event several years ago are using the occasion to get married.
Half a point difference between you and Gaurav. What's your approach going to be here?
I don't know. Maybe I will just first watch what he will do and then maybe decide something. I don't know. We will see.
The most important thing is obviously for you to both finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything can happen and only 2 races to go, and at least 3 or 4 guys can win the championship. So it's very important to finish now. Yeah.
Gill is relaxed and confident, having been here many times in the past and well aware of Hokkaido's challenges.
Japan is always the trickiest, one of the trickiest ones out of the lot because it's really, really fast and it really does get wet and quite slippery out here. Lots of thick gravel, mountain roads, winding, twisty, super flat out all the time, most of the time, and quite bumpy and quite rough at the end of the day because the rally is so long and most of the stages are used again and again. So it's, it's something that you need to really take care of because the car does get a lot of beating and it does go through a lot of stress.
In front of motorsport representatives from all around the Asia-Pacific region, the official start ceremony gets underway just on dusk. Shortly after the start is Stage 1, a fast blast alongside the Satsunai River, designed to give the spectators a taste of things to come. Lappy in the Skoda takes the early lead, 3 seconds ahead of Gill. Muta leads his Cusco teammate Sumiyama on the short 2K test by 2 seconds. Young in the Toyota is 5th fastest of the APRC competitors, 2 seconds ahead of Takali. It's an early start the next morning on a stunningly beautiful day in Hokkaido, but it will be a long one for the crews, with 170 kilometres of competitive stages. First up, it's the 30-kilometre Ashuro Long, and first on the heavily gravelled road is Gaurav Gill in his MRF Skoda Fabia. The Indian driver is determined to make up the 3-second deficit to Lappy from Stage 1 and is pushing hard. There's a lot of gravel to move and already the ruts are forming, making the cars very unstable through the fast bends. Gill has attacked on these roads plenty of times before and is confident in these conditions, crossing the finish line in just under 17 minutes. On the other hand, Lappy's a first-timer here, and with little pre-event testing, this is his first opportunity to get a real taste of the Skoda's handling on these fast and sometimes narrow roads. Near the end of the stage, though, it's wide open, very similar to the roads in his native Finland, and Lappy is able to push the Skoda to the maximum, sliding through the high-speed bends flat in 4th and 5th gears. As he approaches the finish line, it's looking very close. Incredible, after 30k, the teammates set exactly the same time, 16 minutes 57.9 seconds. Behind, Sumiyama moves into 3rd with an excellent time that propels the Cusco Subaru driver into the Asia Cup lead. He's 40 seconds ahead of teammate Muta. Takali's time on Stage 2 moves him into 5th, the Subaru's handling and traction perfectly suited to these fast gravel roads. However, he does exercise a little caution to ensure that he finishes and clinches the APRC Production Cup.
To right 430.
Two-wheel drive leader Young in the Cusco TRD Vitz drops a spot to be 6th in the APRC.
So 8 left minus 150.
To stay in contention, the young Kiwi is having to wring every ounce of power out of the near-standard 1600 Toyota on these fast roads. At the end of stage 2, Hasegawa is just 4 seconds behind Young. The Hase Pro Mitsubishi driver lost time on last night's stage 1, but regains a lot of that on Ashuro to bring him up to 7th of the APRC competitors. Asakura in a 1.6 Proton Satria is struggling for traction as the roads progressively get more rutted. Finishing is the Japanese driver's main aim on his home event. The Yamwaka Road hasn't been used since 2007, and compared to stage 2, it's a tighter and more technical test. It's on this 24-kilometre stage where Gil goes into attack mode, using all his previous experience of the Hokkaido terrain to go 8 seconds quicker than Lappy and move into a 6-second lead. Gil wins on stage 4, Rikabetsu 2, heading to the morning service break with a 9-second lead on his teammate. And as Lappy comes into service, there's a problem discovered with his gearbox.
Something inside the gearbox. When I changed up every time something clanked, you know, I can feel it in so it seems that something was wrong inside of the gearbox, and it took some time to find it from the data, and now the guys decided to change the gearbox, and we are a bit late, so...
Well, obviously understandable when it was halfway through the service anyway, so look, they're doing their best and hopefully that'll keep you going.
Yeah, absolutely. We are just going to drop to second place, so we are on the second place, so it doesn't change anything basically.
The gearbox change is done in record time, but Lappy incurs a 30-second penalty for being late checking out of service. While there's drama in the Skoda camp, the other teams are very relaxed, using the service brake purely for regular maintenance. The class leaders have all consolidated their positions. Sumiyama easily ahead in Asia Cup, Takali with the Production Cup lead, and Young heading two-wheel drive and Junior Cup. With a 39-second lead, Gil can afford to back off on the second run over the 3 stages, although watching him here on stage 5, it doesn't look particularly reserved. It's a big surprise then when Lappy wins the stage by 20 seconds, halving Gil's lead. On the next test, the shorter and tighter Yamwaka, Lappy really nails it. This time 24 seconds faster and taking the lead off his teammate and moving 5.3 seconds ahead. On the final run through Rikabetsu, Lappy extends the lead even further to 8 seconds. It seems that as the conditions and ruts have got worse, the Finn has found it easier to go faster.
Because in a way it's quite easy to drive on deep ruts. You just put the front wheels in there and full throttle, so the rear can go where it wants basically. So.
Gil puts on a show for the spectators at Rikabetsu, but the rest of the time he's conserving the car. As the surface softens, it exposes concrete culverts that can smash wheels or suspensions if hit too hard or caught sideways.
It's not worth taking such a big risk because, again, we both need to be back in the, for the finish. That's more important. And the way the stages are panning out, it's not going to be easy to be flat out all the time.
Back down the order, Muta's event nearly comes to a premature end on stage 5. Luckily, there's no serious damage, just a few seconds lost. Muta and co-driver Takahiro Yasui continue the stage. Hasegawa puts in good times in the afternoon stages, first moving ahead of Young, then on Yamwaka getting past Takali. Unfortunately, partway through Rikabetsu, Hasegawa's car gets a puncture and Young catches and passes him near the end of the stage. Hasegawa falls back to 7th, 3 seconds behind Young. Takali's afternoon continues without incident and he's back up to 5th in the APRC thanks to Hasegawa's puncture. As the competitors assemble at Rikabetsu for the final time, there are 3 more stages to go to complete the day. It'll be the 3rd run over Yamwaka and Ashuro Long, and it's going to be rough. Lappy continues his attacking pace, fastest through stage 8 and inching another few seconds ahead of Gill to lead by 11 seconds. Gill is determined to make the finish and he knows that these roads will be giving the suspension and drive shafts a severe battering. He continues that approach on stage 9, fast but conservative. Lappy should be next, but there's an ominous silence. The onboard camera tells the story. The ruts and corrugations are giving the Lappy Skoda suspension a real hard time. And eventually, when telltale noises start coming from underneath, Lappy and Yanni Firm are forced to pull over and retire. Lappy's exit moves Sumiyama into 2nd, the Cusco Subaru driver continuing to set good times, unfazed by the rough roads. Muta also moves up a place, his Subaru seemingly untroubled, even after his earlier rollover. Takali in the older shaped Subaru keeps up the pace in the afternoon stages, holding on to 4th. The Indian driver seems to shine when it gets rough, and with his vast experience, knows when to back off too. It's proving to be a good day's rallying for the Cusco team, with Young next in 5th place. The Toyota driver is 4th fastest of the APRC runners on Ashuro Long, showing that the Vitz can be pushed hard through the rough stuff and is quick on the faster sections. Hasegawa has had his problems through the day, but is confident he can make up the 60-second deficit to catch Young on the faster stages scheduled for tomorrow. Asakura's team changed the gearbox on his Proton Satria during morning service, and with no further problems, he heads back to Obihiro service in 7th. The last service for the day is 40 minutes long, and after 170 kilometres of rough rallying, there's plenty for the service crews to do on all of the cars.
It's a great, long, hard day.
Yeah, very long. I think we've spent over 14 hours since morning and about over 600 kilometers of driving today. Car's mint, no problem, all perfect. We took care of the car all day, as I said before. You know, even just, you know, we went fast in the morning. We set top times, but there was no point, you know, doing it again and again because Japan is unforgiving. It becomes really, really rough. Huge ruts and huge gutters all over the stages, so it can really break your car into pieces. And we just nursed it in the afternoon, but yeah, we went flat out in the last loop of the stages. Yeah, it's good. It's been a good day.
Over at Cusco, they're thrilled to have 3 cars back at service and little to do except routine maintenance.
1日目終わりまして、ちょっと車 GRB に変わりまして本格的にマレーシア、ちょっとリタイアしちゃったんで、今回から本格的になったのでいろいろセッティングしながら走行してたんですけども、今一つねちょっとタイム伸び悩む中、アジアカップあと APRC の中でも、2位になれてるので、明日も頑張って、ポディウム目指して頑張りたいと思います。
アジアカップ2番につけてるんですけど、明日1日最後までしっかり走り切って完走して2番でゴールしたいと思ってます。
Good to make it through day one, and no mistakes. And me and Malcolm had good fun at the end there. Nice nice clean roads to go on, and the ruts weren't too bad, but it was a little bit rough towards the end there, but Vit's handled it well.
MRU Motorsport and Sanjay Takali are on track to win the Production Cup.
Oh well, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and I don't want to jinx anything. So just looking forward for another day tomorrow, start afresh and just keep the cool and finish the rally, I think.
On day 2 of Rally Hokkaido, we catch up with Gil and McNeil as they prepare for the first stage.
Yeah, all good. Not much sleep.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a very long and tough rally. Yeah, but it's good. Yeah, it's very early in the morning, quite cold. Yeah, there's no need for us to push, so we'll just cruise through and get the car back home.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 5 minus right, 220.
Next up is Sumiyama.
Good morning, おはようございます。2、1、go. 6 right, 6 to 20.
With Gil and Sumiyama way out in front and unlikely to be caught, the day 2 battle settles on Takali, who's 2 minutes in front of Young. He in turn is 1 minute ahead of Hasegawa. It's Hasegawa who makes the first move, fastest of the 3 on the first group of 4 stages, gradually chopping Young's lead down to just 9 seconds by morning service. But Young's on the move too, quicker than Takali on the 4 tests and chipping away at his lead. Back at the head of the field, Gil's in cruise mode, but has a couple of moments and decides he needs to increase the pace to keep his concentration levels up. It's a similar story for Sumiyama, realising he can't relax either when Muta's the fastest APRC driver on stage 12. In the afternoon, Hasegawa moves 6 seconds ahead of Young on stage 15 and is now just 1 minute 20 seconds behind Takali. But while Hasegawa does get the gap down to 50 seconds, Takali puts the hammer down on the final stage to finish the event 53 seconds in front.
We came here to finish and it was very important for us to win the Production Cup. And this is my second row. I win the Asia Pacific Championship in a different class, of course. Crowd here is fantastic. I've never seen like this anything. So overall, a very beautiful rally. Good coverage from APRC TV also.
Young has a late scare on the penultimate stage, puncturing near the finish, and then has to scramble to change the flat before the last stage.
8 right 100. Oh, felt that one. 9 right over finish.
However, he and co-driver Malcolm Reed still finished 6th of the APRC finishers, winning the APRC Junior Cup and securing the 2-wheel drive honours with 1 more round remaining.
Finally, I've come here 3 times, finally get the result I wanted, and the championship 2-wheel drive Junior Cup, so can't get much better than that. Little sting in the tail with a flat tyre in the last run through the river stage here, but nothing was going to stop me from finishing this time.
Their main rival, Asakura, finishes 7th, delighted to complete his home event. Cusco has plenty of reasons to celebrate, with Sumiyama 2nd overall and Muta 3rd of the APRC competitors. Importantly, Muta still leads the Asia Cup, with only the Thai finale to come.
ポイントリーダーでいけることについては気持ち的にはすごく楽なんですけど、もっと、攻めて走れるように、練習しておきます。
2日間、走りまして、なんとかフィニッシュできて、2位でフィニッシュできて、アジアカップの方もマキシマムポイント取れたので、僕自身すごいいい内容だったと思います。あとクスコチームも、ムタ、マイケル含めて全日本チームの方も今多分全員完走できると思いますので、すごい良かったと思います。ありがとうございました。
今回は、APRC の総合住山が2位で。アジアカップ 1,2 で多分今回でマイケルさんのビッツがチャンピオン 2WD のチャンピオン決められると思いますので、 で最終戦は12月のタイランドなんで頑張ります。
Overall, though, it's Gill who has the greatest cause for celebration, taking a big lead in both the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championships, with just one event to go in the main series, China Rally.
Well done, Gaurav. Must be relieved.
Yeah, for sure. It's been very tough weekend. Very long, hard rally. It wasn't easy at all. It's been very rough, and we had to play smart, and it paid off at the end. We started off with a good advantage over our teammate, but unfortunately he had some suspension issues. So we got back into the lead, and we've been just cruising for ourselves and for the team after that.
In the drivers' points, Gill has a big lead, but Young has nominated China for his next event, and if he does compete, Gill will have to finish to be declared the champion. Skoda and Subaru are very close, and Skoda must finish ahead in China to win the championship. It's all on in the Asia Cup for the Cusco teammates, with Muta holding a 22-point lead and Sumiyama and Young second equal. Gill and Skoda are very close to taking the 2013 APRC title, so let's see what happens in China. Keep up with all the news on our website, aprc.tv.